Voice actress Seon Eun Hye passes away at age 40. There are voices we hear once. And there are voices that stay with us forever. They echo through our favorite scenes. They breathe life into characters we love. They comfort us without us ever seeing the face behind the sound. Today, the world of animation, storytelling, and voice artistry stands still in shock and sorrow. Because a voice that once carried emotion, warmth, strength, and soul has gone silent. South Korean voice actress Seon Eun Hye has reportedly passed away at the age of 40. Too young, too sudden, and far too painful for fans, colleagues, and an entire creative industry that grew up hearing her voice. This is not just a story about loss. It is a story about legacy, impact, and the invisible artists who shape our memories from behind the scenes. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may realize that Seon Eun Hye's voice was part of your life in ways you never fully noticed. Seon Eun Hye was not a tabloid name. She wasn't constantly in front of cameras or trending for controversy. But in the world of voice acting, her presence was powerful. She was one of those rare artists whose voice could shift effortlessly, from gentle and comforting to fierce and emotionally intense. Whether voicing animated characters, dubbed roles, or audio performances, her delivery carried authenticity. Voice acting is a profession that demands everything while offering little public recognition. There are no flashing lights, no red carpets for most roles. Yet Seon Eun Hye dedicated her life to it. Her colleagues often described her as disciplined, passionate, and deeply committed to her craft. She wasn't just reading lines. She was inhabiting characters, giving them breath, rhythm, and emotion. And for years, audiences listened, often without knowing her name. To understand the weight of this loss, you must understand what voice actors truly do. A voice actor doesn't rely on facial expressions or physical movement. Everything must come from the voice alone. Pain, joy, fear, hope. Every tremble, every pause, every breath matters. Seon Eun Hye mastered this invisible art. Her voice became part of childhood memories, emotional scenes, late-night rewatches, and comfort viewing. Many fans, upon hearing the news of her passing, realized something heartbreaking. They had loved her work for years, without ever knowing the woman behind the voice. And that realization made the loss even heavier. When reports began circulating that Seon Eun Hye had passed away at just 40 years old, disbelief spread quickly. Social media timelines filled with shock, confusion, grief, questions with no immediate answers. 40 is not an age people associate with endings. It is an age of experience, maturity, and creative peak. Fans struggled to process the idea that someone so talented, so present through sound, could be gone so suddenly. Industry peers expressed quiet heartbreak, not in dramatic headlines but in soft words, memories, and tributes. Because in creative circles, loss is deeply personal. You don't just lose a colleague. You lose a voice, a presence, a shared language of creativity. One thing that has stood out since the news broke is the lack of sensational details. And that silence deserves respect. Not every passing needs speculation. Not every loss requires answers for public consumption. Sometimes dignity is found in allowing a person's work, not the circumstances of their death, to define their story. What matters most is not how Seon Eun Hye passed, but how she lived. And she lived as an artist. Seon Eun Hye's legacy is not measured in awards alone. It lives in scenes that made viewers emotional, characters that felt real, moments where her voice carried a story forward. Voice acting is one of the purest forms of performance. There is nowhere to hide. And Seon Eun Hye showed consistency, the mark of a true professional. Younger voice actors looked up to her. Peers respected her work ethic. Directors trusted her ability to deliver emotion with precision. Even now, her recordings remain, frozen in time, untouched by loss. Every replay is a reminder. A voice can outlive the body. As news spread, fans began revisiting scenes she voiced. Some wrote, "I didn't know her name, but I knew her voice." Others said, "She voiced moments of my childhood." That is the unique power of voice acting. You don't recognize the face, but your heart recognizes the sound. And when that sound is gone, the absence feels strangely personal. Grief doesn't always come from familiarity. Sometimes it comes from connection. Behind every voice performance is long studio hours, vocal strain, retakes, and emotional exhaustion. Voice actors push their instruments, their voices, beyond comfort. And yet, they rarely receive the spotlight given to on-screen stars. Seon Eun Hye represented thousands of artists who work quietly, passionately and selflessly. Her passing is a reminder to appreciate the creators we don't always see. Seon Eun Hye may no longer be here, but her voice remains. It remains in recordings, in memories, in characters that will continue to speak, laugh, cry, and love because of her. Death can silence a person, but it cannot erase their impact. And in the world of storytelling, impact is immortality. Today, we don't just mourn her passing, we honor her contribution. Rest in peace, Seon Eun Hye. Your voice will never truly fade. If this tribute touched you, take a moment to honor her legacy by liking this video, sharing it, and remembering the voices that shaped our stories. And if you appreciate respectful storytelling about the artists behind the scenes, subscribe for more stories that matter.